Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a really fun journey into the absolute foundation of the English language. We're going to completely demystify grammar, and we're going to do it not by memorizing some giant, dusty textbook of rules, but by simply looking around and naming our environment. Think of me as your personal guide today. We're starting right at the very beginning to build a rock-solid foundation. So whether you are a total beginner or maybe you just need a quick refresher, you are in the exact right place. To kick things off, let's do a quick little exercise together. Seriously, just look around the room you're in right now. What do you actually see? Maybe it's a laptop, a desk chair, a door, a coffee cup. Okay, now what about the things you absolutely can't see, but you know for a fact are there? Like maybe the coolness of the air conditioning, or even the knowledge we're sharing in this very moment. The reality is profoundly simple here. Every single one of these things, whether visible or completely invisible, has a name. And honestly, that brings us to our core definition. At its most basic level, a noun is literally just a naming word. It's simply the word we use to give a name to a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. It really doesn't matter if you can physically touch it, like a pen sitting on your desk, or if you can't touch it at all, like the feeling of happiness. If you can name it, it's a noun. It's just the label we stick onto reality so we can communicate about it. And once you realize that, all this grammar stuff becomes way less intimidating. Okay, so here is our quick roadmap for today's explainer. First, we just covered what a noun is, so next we'll hit noun types, then abstract and material nouns. After that, the sometimes tricky countable versus uncountable challenge. And finally, a quick noun quiz. Let's get moving. All right, moving into noun types, going from specific to general. Okay, let's really dive into this. We're going to group our grammatical building blocks logically here. You see, not all naming words do the exact same job. Some are super incredibly specific, while others cast a much wider net. And understanding this difference, that is the secret to mastering noun types. Think about proper nouns for a second. These always get a capital letter because they name a very specific, particular thing. RAM is a specific person. RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, is a specific institution. Priya is a specific girl. But what do Ram and Priya have in common with everyone else? Well, that brings us to common nouns. Ram belongs to the general category of boy. RBI belongs to the general category of bank. Priya is a girl. So common nouns describe the broad category or class. And finally, what happens when you group a whole bunch of these together? Boom, that's your collective noun. A group of students makes a class. A group of players makes a team. A group of people makes a crowd. Do you see how they perfectly build on each other? From the specific individual, right up to the general category, and then to the gathered group? Next up, abstract and material nouns. Basically, things we touch versus things we feel. So let's zoom out a bit from the people and groups around us and look at the substances and concepts in our world. We're shifting from everyday concrete objects to slightly more nuanced categories. But don't worry, the underlying logic is exactly the same. On one hand, we have material nouns. These are the actual physical substances that things are made out of. For instance, a ring is a common noun, right? But the gold or silver that the ring is literally made of, that's the material noun. A table is common, but the wood or plastic it's crafted from is material. Then, on the flip side, we have abstract nouns. These are completely intangible. You can't physically touch them, you can't see them, you definitely can't put them in a cardboard box. They're feelings, states of being, or concepts. You can't reach out and touch love, you can't hold a handful of patience, and you certainly can't measure out goodness on a kitchen scale. But they are absolutely vital naming words for describing our human experience. All right, let's tackle countable versus uncountable nouns. I like to call this the counting challenge. Now, when it comes to everyday language, and especially exams, this next part is a really critical juncture. Answer this for me right now. Can you count water? Like 1 water, 2 waters? No, right? That sounds ridiculous. But how about stars? Can you count stars? Take a second to really think about your answer to that, because the grammar rules here are actually super fascinating. Here is the golden rule, the one thing you need to remember. It all comes down to asking how many versus how much. Countable nouns answer the question how many, and because they're asking for a specific number, they can be singular or plural. 1 boy, 2 boys. 1 table, 5 tables. Simple enough. Uncountable nouns, though, answer how much. They represent a bulk quantity or an amount, not an individual separate number. And because of this, they do not have a plural form. You can't say waters. And crucially, for those tricky exams, you absolutely cannot say informations or furnitures. Information and furniture are strictly uncountable. You can have pieces of furniture or pieces of information, sure, but the words themselves never take an S. Now, what's really interesting here is how this solves our star riddle from earlier. There's a massive trap students fall into here. People think stars are uncountable because, well, there are billions of them in the galaxy. But grammatically speaking, countless does not mean uncountable. Think about it. You can look up at the night sky and point, saying, I see 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars. You are literally applying a number to them. Therefore, stars are a countable noun. The fact that it's physically impossible to finish counting them doesn't change the grammar rule one bit. It just means you'd be standing there counting for a really long time.
Okay, let's wrap things up with a quick noun quiz to test your knowledge.
So, the truly crucial point of all this is knowing how to spot these different types of nouns out in the wild. We've covered the definitions, the categories, and the measuring rules. Now it is time to put on your detective hat and apply what we've just learned to a real, everyday sentence. Here is your suspect sentence. Rom is an intelligent boy. I want you to just take a brief moment, look really closely, and identify the naming words here. What are the nouns? And based on everything we just covered, what type of nouns are they? All right, let's break it down together. First up, we have Rom. Because it represents a highly specific particular person, it is a proper noun. Notice how it serves as the main subject, the core actor of our sentence. Then we have boy. This is a common noun, representing the broad, general category that Rom happens to belong to. In grammatical terms, boy here acts as a subject complement. It's just giving us extra vital information to complete our understanding of exactly who Rom is. Now, if you spotted both of those and knew exactly why they fall into those specific categories, give yourself a massive pat on the back. You've successfully decoded the building blocks of English.
Let's move to our final thought for today's explainer. We started this whole thing by looking for visible and invisible things in your room. Well, now that you have this brand new grammatical lens to view the world through, I want you to look around again. But this time, hunt for quantities. What uncountable nouns are hiding in your environment right now? Is it the light streaming through your window, the wood of your desk, or maybe the knowledge you just gained? Grammar isn't just a bunch of boring rules on a page. It's the literal code we use to structure and understand the reality around us. Keep practicing, keep labeling your world, and I will see you in the next explainer.